So, uh, well, what next? Next is to accelerate the pace of digital public infrastructure, because one of the challenges for us is that if you look at the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of crisis. The SDG goals are way behind schedule. Instead of progressing, we've regressed. The post-COVID era has seen vast segments of population go below poverty line. There is 75 countries of the world are facing a debt crisis. There is one-third of the world is in recession. Many challenges in the world, but there's one silver lining, and that one silver lining is the emergence of digital public infrastructure. And it's important because the western part of the world has grown on the back of big tech, whether it was Meta or Google or Apple or Amazon. And China has seen growth through Tencent and Alibaba. What some countries have done differently, particularly India, Estonia, Brazil have done, is to create a public interest layer. And on top of that public interest layer, they've done a lot of, allowed private sector to innovate. And therefore, in a country like India, you have PhonePe competing with Google Pay, you have Paytm competing with WhatsApp, and these are open source, open API, open standard, but they are interoperable. And therefore, the private sector keeps innovating on top of it. And this has been possible because India was able to build identity for 1.4 billion people. It was able to, then between 2015 and 17, it opened 550 million bank accounts and seeded these bank accounts with both the digital identity and the mobile number. And therefore, in India, the mobile enables you to do fast payments. We do about 46% of the real-time fast payments in the world. We do 11x more payments than what USA and Europe do. We do 4x of China. And then from fast payment, we have a number of startups like MobiKwik, Pine Lab, etc., who do paperless, cashless lending. And then we have another set of startups like Zerodha, Grow, Upstock, all of them, who use the DPI to do wealth creation. They've taken the stock market to Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, rural areas, and they control about 35% of the wealth creation in India. And then you have another set of startups like GoDigit, Acco, etc., who then provide insurance to the people of India on the mobile, on the go. So when I was taking an insurance policy as a young officer, it used to take me 6 months. They do it in 1 minute to 2 minutes on the go, on the mobile. And they've been able to do this wealth creation, credit, paperless, cashless credit, all this, because India was able to build up the building blocks. Now, these startups are all unicorns. They are all national assets because they were able to do it because India built the identity, India built the bank accounts. Now, that was a lot of hard work, building the identity, building the bank accounts, seeding them with both the identity and the mobile number. And the challenge, as we saw during the COVID, was that while the world was giving out large packages which led to then inflation, India was able to put money straight into the bank accounts of the beneficiaries. 800 million people got money straight into the bank account without any leakages. Not a single paisa worth of leakage, money going straight in. And today in India, we put money straight into the beneficiary account in 700 government schemes with no leakages. And therefore, what India has done is technologically pole vaulted, and that has been the big silver lining, that you've pole vaulted technologically. And now we are linking up AI to the digital public infrastructure. And what it does is that we have 22 national languages, we have about 1,700 other dialects. So if you look at Bhashni and Jugalbandi, it enables AI to be linked up, and anyone sitting in any part of India, any rural person, anywhere, can use his local dialect to get knowledge, information, fill up the form in his local language through voice, and get access to any government scheme. And that's the power of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, on the digital public infrastructure. So that's a quantum jump forward in this. Now, what we've achieved through DPI, it's important to understand, is transforming lives of citizens. We've transformed lives of citizens and enabled them to get benefits through digital public infrastructure. And our belief is that in the world today, there are 4 billion people, particularly in the global south. And if the global south, the world has to grow and grow equitably, the global south is important. Global south is important because 4 billion people do not have a digital identity, and 1.3 billion people do not have a bank account, and 133 countries in the world do not have fast payments. And therefore, you need the digital public infrastructure to enable these countries to technologically leapfrog and ensure that we are able to make sustainable development goals reached to them. And that is really the key. SDGs must reach the global south, and therefore you need technological leapfrogging through the digital public infrastructure. There was a vacuum. There was a vacuum in the global architecture of digital public infrastructure. There was no definition. There was no framework. What India's G20 has done is to build that architecture. Yeah. We've built the digital public architecture. We've defined DPI. We've built the framework to enable the global south to leapfrog.
Through a consensus process, right? So it's
100% consensus process. Yeah. It was very difficult, very tough, but we brought every single country on the board to accept both the architecture, the definition, and the framework of the digital public infrastructure. And therefore, now the world will grow on the back of digital public infrastructure.
Yeah, a remarkable achievement.